Hello there, and welcome back to Creating with Semaj. This is part two of exploring our many sides through art. Hello, and welcome. In this space, we continue the journey of discovery through creativity, tapping into that powerful role of art and how it deepens our understanding of our own selves and how it helps us to connect more deeply with others. In yesterday's conversation, we went through what I consider my 10 guidelines and we approached 1 through 5. We're not going to get misnumbered today. And today we're going to go through 6 through 10. And these are just things that I think really help to benefit you or us, anyone, in the journey of self-discovery through art. Because this experience that we're having here together is really us tapping in just for 20 minutes a day into that part of ourselves that wants to talk without words. It's our nonverbal expression of what's going on inside, maybe coming out on the outside, however it wants, or maybe it's just an opportunity to be calm. Perhaps it's just a space to find 20 minutes of peace and respite. So that's why we're here doing this together. So I'd like to start with talking about number 6 today. And that is one of the things we're doing in this series, and that is exploring our very many sides. So in our world in which we live, for whatever reason it is, we forever encourage children to play. That's a really big and important message that we seem to send often. And we encourage that in large doses and large amounts. However, when we seem to become a certain age, for whatever reason, that play seems to disappear in our lives, and we don't participate in that play nearly as much as we had in the past. So in that, as we grow older, losing that playful part of ourselves, missing out on that child that's still there, we don't have the opportunity to necessarily maybe grow the way we need to. So what creativity does, as we come back to it as adults, because this is what's important, because remember yesterday we talked that inner child that's a part of you never stops being a part of you regardless of how old you become. That child that was in you whenever you were most sparked with your creative imagination, that part of you is that part of your soul that you're still connected to regardless of your age. And in that, we realize that that child needs to play. And that child needs to play as that child becomes older. So as we become older, creativity lets us play. It lets us experiment. It lets us show every single facet of ourselves, from the playful and the reflective side. See, that's the important thing. We come at it from the playful and the reflective side. Children don't look at the art they create with any sort of or level of judgment. They just do it because they love to do it. And we need to find that space within ourselves to be able to have that grace to play with ourselves in that sense of allowing that moment to happen and how we respond to our playfulness with ourselves in our creative space. So here we embrace the freedom in that space. We get to embrace the wholeness of who we are unabashedly in that space. And then it allows us to explore all the parts of ourselves and then express them through the different types of works we create. And that is what being a creative in that sense comes to and for us. That is why we do what we do in that sense, I believe. And then number 7 is it really allows us to build community when we create our art and then share our art. It allows us to create community with others, sort of the opportunity of putting yourself out there to find your tribe. Because self-expression through creativity, whether you believe it or not, it fosters connections. And it fosters connections with people who see us and like really see us. They get us. They connect with us. And when that happens, that can feel really odd and exhilarating and fearful all at the same time. So in this community that we foster and we create, what we learn is we find shared understanding and we find a space to celebrate each other's journeys and how you self-express. One of my favorite things that I've recently come into is this group called Process Painting. And I will leave a link below so you yourself can go and see what it's about. But it was created by this gentleman named Stuart Cubley about 50 years ago when he began working with children. And in this experience of working with children, he noticed how they painted and how they expressed themselves with this just absolute freedom of creation. And he watched that and he took that experience and developed a program where he takes it into adults, and it's about creating for the experience of creating, exactly what we're doing here. We're not being concerned or worried about the outcome, but just the doing of the experience. And in that experience, one of the most beautiful things that happens is you're in a room with 20, 30, 40 people, and they're all engaged in painting, but it's all done in silence. And when everything is said and done, no one gets to say anything about anybody else's art. You don't get to talk about it. You don't get to comment on it. You don't get to say anything about it. Absolutely nothing. But what you do get to do is you get to engage with the person on how you saw them in the experience of their painting. You can talk about their joy you saw, or talk about their frustration, or talked about the challenge that you saw them face and how they had to walk away. But it's all these things about watching and seeing them in the experience that you get to acknowledge without passing judgment on the creation of what they did. And I think that's a really palpable and powerful thing that happens in that experience. Because when that happens, it just creates freedom in people that they kind of didn't know they had, to just be themselves in a space with so many people. And people, what's really wonderful is that you get to walk around and you get to look and see everyone, and you get to watch other people paint, because sometimes you yourself might need to stop away from the work that you're doing. And when you get to do that, you get to see the expression of others. And I can't tell you, I have not experienced anything more delightful than being in the presence of more than 20, 30, 40 people all painting together in silence. It really is a sacred space, and the most amazing things come out. Truly, the most amazing things. And when you go and look at what they create and what they do, you will understand that it is deep and intense and beautiful. So that's why community is important, and that is number 7. Number 8 is about processing and releasing emotions, and that is really why we do this. During this period, during this time, during this new era we're going to be moving into globally, I think we're going to be needing a lot of room for processing and releasing emotions. I'm just putting it out there. So, as I say that, I think it's important to realize that art can serve as a safe container. That's what it is. It's a safe container for complex emotions, allowing us, the creators, to release feelings, right? To get out from the inside to the outside in a healthy and cathartic way so that we're not holding on to that stuff. Because I don't think it would benefit us much to just hold on to it. So having the opportunity to have space to do that through our processing and releasing our emotions through the creative process of making art will certainly benefit us. And in that space, we get to explore. We get to explore. We get to explore our own potential, our own creativity. We get to learn things about ourselves that we might not even known, imagined, or thought possible. It really is an amazing experience. And we get to have perspective on challenging experiences. Maybe we get to use the art to work through something that we're dealing with on the outside or inside in our life, right? And perhaps the art and the creation of the art becomes the vehicle for us to express and get out that whatever angst, emotion, stress, sadness, feelings, whatever it shows up for you as. Perhaps the creation of doing this creative thing will offer you space and give you perspective on all of those experiences that are otherwise seeming to be more challenging than you wanted them to be. A creative process is important and a practice. That's what we're doing here. Number nine, we're nearly there, is about exploring dreams and aspirations. You know, when we were children, we all had dreams. We all had aspirations, things we wanted to be when we grew up, things we told people, secrets we told our pets and friends, all of those things that we held dear and important. And then we become adults and we kind of forget about those things, all about those opportunities and those potentials and those things that could exist for us. We put them away and put them in the background and maybe pretend like they're not important anymore, that they're not possible anymore, because other things have moved in and have become more important. Maybe our job, our kid, our family, other commitments have moved in and have moved us away from exploring what our dreams and our aspirations could and might be. I want to say that creativity, what we're doing here, just sitting and being and putting stuff down, allows us to dream beyond our current daily reality. It really gives us space to follow our aspirations and live in that dreamy space of what if? What if? What if? What if? That is always such dreamy scenarios. Not the what if with the angst, but the what if with the wonderment and the encouragement. There's a great book, What Do You Do With an Idea? I'll put the link down below so you can find that there as well. I highly recommend it. It's just it's a really sweet little book to share what do you do with an idea and how do you love it and nurture it and what happens to it. And it's a really sweet story. So exploring our dreams and our aspirations, we use art. We use art to paint our dreams and explore our true potential. So find ways to do that in different ways, whether it's painting, whether it's gardening, whether it's all the things we've talked about in yesterday's video that you may do to get to where you feel that most creative flow for yourself, wherever that space might be. find yourself time to be there, to enjoy it, to embrace it, and to honor that part of yourself that wants to be expressive in that nature and in that way. Because we are all creatives, and that will help to heal you during this time of difficulty that you may be going through, when you can see what you can do with your hands, because there's great power in that. These tools that we were given are amazing. Lastly, as we finish and wrap up today, and I so appreciate you being here with me, if you've enjoyed our time together and you liked the content, please give it a thumbs up, one of those likes. And if you want to follow along, I'd love for you to subscribe. That's the word. I'd love for you to subscribe. And remember, I don't edit my videos because, life is real. And it doesn't need to be all polished and pretty for everyone. So number 10, art creates a lifelong dialogue with ourselves. And what do I mean by that? When you have art that you've created, you'll be able to have essentially a time capsule to look back at your life and where you were in that moment in time and what you were creating and maybe what you were thinking, right? What you were experiencing. You'll be able to see all those things and all the pieces of art that you created, and you will see your style, and you will see your seasons of creation. Think of Picasso and all the different movements that he went through while he was an artist, and all of his different styles of art. You yourself will do that in your creative process, however that shows up for you. And as you get better at the thing that you do, your style will change, it will improve, it will morph, and it will become its own. But each and every creative expression is a chapter of our personal story. And over time, our artwork shows us how much we've grown, how much we've learned, how much we've changed and evolved. And most importantly, it not only creates a lasting legacy for us while we're here, but when we're gone, it can create a lasting legacy for those who loved us and want to remember us. Because in our art, they get to see us. They get to feel us. They get to love us. And most importantly, they get to be near us. So I think that's a really important thing to remember. Don't throw your art away. Always sign and date your art. Use your art as an expression to leave something behind for the people that you love, so they can have something to hold on to you. Because your energy is in the piece of art you create. Because you are in every single piece of art that you create. I really appreciate you spending the time with me and enjoying learning how to be more creative and finding space for yourself in that. Being willing to explore those parts of yourself that may be new and different, and things that you didn't know or feel about yourself were possible. It's been a pleasure having you here today, enjoying this time together. Remember, if you like the content, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd love for you to be part of my community, so we can support each other in the art that we create and the things that we do. Thank you for taking these minutes with me. I appreciate your time because I know it's valuable and very, very important. I wish for wherever you are, you have an amazing day. And until then,